Harish, this year more than ever, there are more people wanting to talk about the customer. Why do you think that is?
Customers are everything. I mean, ultimately you're doing work, any organization, so revenue comes through the customers, everything is how you service the customers. Now, reason why shared services are set up is to have a consolidated area where you can bring in work and done in a very consistent way, and that's the whole value of shared services, apart from of course reducing costs. But the important thing is to bring quality to the customers. Now, customers can mean multiple things. It can mean an actual end customer who is your consumer of the services, but it can also be a customer within the organization who consumes your services for, let's say, HR, etc., your employees. So to me, as long as you serve your customers, you're meeting the expectations in the right time frame, and as long as you're meeting the service level agreements that your customer expects, and if you do it correctly and efficiently, it definitely goes a long way in improving the satisfaction of whether be it internal or external.
Which technology do you think is having the biggest impact on the SSO market today?
Yeah, so traditionally it's not been, okay, what I hear from all these presentations here, the recurring theme among the large organizations who run shared services is all about productivity, efficiencies, making sure that they are as per they are compliant as per the regulatory norms, the auditors are happy, they are meeting their time, and etc. But so far what we have been seeing is that not a lot of technology is being used, which is a pity, because over the years technology has actually improved to the point where you can get very precise measurements of productivity. It can also give you very good information about the efficiency of the individual. Technology is now able to give you how work is being processed, is there any variation in your standard operating processes, how much time each individual step is being taken, which now many of the times I've seen shared services and back offices actually use time and motion analysis, which tends to be slow, not very productive in measurements. It's time consuming and not accurate to start off. Technology now enables you to do a very precise measurement of these things, so that the managers and supervisors are able to take a much more accurate judgment call of what needs to be done, and it's pretty much real time.
And I understand Verint is very much active in this field, is it?
Yeah, good question, because Verint recognizes the need for such technology that can actually help back offices and shared services to be far more effective in whatever they are doing right now. Because ultimately the reason why shared services have been established is to have a cost advantage. As you can imagine, cost is important, apart from of course customer service that I mentioned before. So technology will fill a big role in that, and Verint has got tools which does precisely these things to help understand, give visibility into the operations. As you know, in the manufacturing field, we have all these tools and matrices and Lean Six Sigma, etc., which gives a very precise measurements and metrics of what's happening. We do not have the equivalent in the back office or the shared services. So we are actually 100 years behind what manufacturing was able to achieve. True that some people may say that knowledge workers do not do the same work as manufacturing people, but then the reality is that you can actually transfer a lot of the stuff that has been done. The challenge that we had with the knowledge workers is that there was no measurement tool to do a proper measurement. Now we do have that. Technology has advanced far enough to do it. So this is where we are able to offer that value proposition to help bring that kind of huge improvement in productivity, what manufacturing has achieved over 100 years.
How would you compare the SSO markets within Asia with those of the other regions? Can you compare or maybe give us some idea about this?
Shared services actually started off, North America and lower cost regions of Europe to defray some of the cost. That happened many years ago, and since then it's moved to Asia Pac. We are now in a stage one, where cost advantages are being realized. So you have the labor arbitrage in APAC being leveraged. So that's stage one that we are right now. Whereas shared services established in South America or East Europe have already gone past that, and now they are moving on to the next stage of evolution, which is how do I make ourselves more productive, and now that the labor arbitrage advantage is no longer the key driving factor. It is a key driving factor for maybe year 1, 2 and 3, but what about year 4, 5 and beyond? You need to constantly find something else to actually make yourself far more competitive as compared to your competitors. Because most competitors are also having the same kind of cost advantages. Now what do you do next stage? So now we are seeing that in APAC to going into stage 2 of evolution.
Harish, you've been a part of many projects in your career. Which stands out to you as the most innovative business transformation project within the last 5 years?
Yeah, what's happening over the years is that regulators are coming hard on a lot of organizations. They want to ensure that people are corporates are being responsible corporate citizens. So we do that, driving a lot of the transformation, number one. So over the last 5 years, most of the transformation projects that I've seen is, number one, to retool the company to make themselves more efficient in terms of meeting compliance and regulators' demands, being cost effective in many ways. Now, we did have a boom time at some time in the past, but now that is past. We are now in a permanent recession stage, as you can imagine. There are only few pockets in the world economy which is growing at a booming rate, but the rest of the market is now looking at not really looking at actually increasing the revenue by getting out a lot more, but actually how do I consolidate my position in the market by reducing cost, improving productivity, do more with what do I have right now in terms of my human resources. And that's exactly where Verint comes in with our workforce optimization tools to help you help customers actually gain cost advantage by giving them tools which actually give an insight into how people are working, what is my excess capacity, etc.
For my final question, I'd like to ask your opinion on this, Harish. How do you see the future of shared services and outsourcing industry evolving within the next 3 to 5 years?
Good question, because in terms of APAC, this is to your previous question, I do see that what we are seeing in different parts of the world moving towards APAC. I did mention that the cost advantage is now being nullified in some sense. We have exploited the labor arbitrage in APAC. Number two, we see that wages are also growing up in places like China, India, of course in Southeast Asia as well. So how do we actually contract? I know a lot of organizations do have a mandate to reduce cost year on year, anywhere between 3% to 10%, as that's a mandate that's given to shared services organization. How does a shared services organization actually meet up to such tough demands? Because they are in a position where they are to deal with attrition, increase wage cost. Now, they have been scratching their head mostly to understand how do I optimize my processes, how do I get accurate information. So this is a trend that I see in this period to be a lot more technology oriented and running a much more tighter ship. And so we have gone past the labor arbitrage stage. So we are moving to the next stage of maturity, which I think is really very exciting, and which I believe we will have the rises of consultants being engaged to actually improve these things, usage of technology to actually to improve the productivity, etc. So this is the direction that I see.
Do you think there's enough supply of talent in Asia?
I beg your pardon, sorry?
Do you think there's enough supply of talent in Asia?
Absolutely, yes. Huge. I mean, I've seen places in China where there are universities set up by the government to train people for shared services. It's the same thing in India. There's a huge value that is being created, which can potentially be created by tapping into the graduates of the regional schools coming in. So, absolutely, yes.